Hello everyone. Now I'm going to continue from where I left off in Octavia Butler's Wild Sea. So, here we go. They were called Kush in my time. Their land is far to the east of here. I was born to them, but they have not been my people for many years. I have not seen them for perhaps 12 times as long as you have been alive. When I was 13 years old, I was separated from them. Now my people are those who give me their loyalty. And now you think you know my age, she said? That is something my own people do not know. No doubt you have moved from town to town to help them forget. He looked around, saw a fallen tree nearby. He went to sit in it. Anyanwu followed almost against her will. As much as this man confused and frightened her, he also intrigued her. It had been so long since something had happened to her that had not happened before, many times before. He spoke again. I do nothing to conceal my age, he said, yet some of my people have found it more comfortable to forget, since they can neither kill me nor become what I am. She went closer to him and peered down at him. He was clearly proclaiming himself like her, long-lived and powerful. In all her years, she had not known even one other person like herself. She had long ago given up, accepted her solitude. But now... Go on talking, she said. You have much to tell me. He had been watching her, looking at her eyes with a curiosity that most people tried to hide from her. People said her eyes were like baby's eyes, the whites too white, the browns too deep and clear. No adult, and certainly no old woman, should have such eyes, they said. And they avoided her gaze. Doro's eyes were very ordinary, but he could stare at her as children stared. He had no fear, and probably no shame. He startled her by taking her hand and pulling her down beside him on the tree trunk. She could have broken his grip easily, but she did not. I've come a long way today, he said. This body needs rest if it is to continue to serve me. She thought about that. This body needs rest. What a strange way he had of talking. I came to this territory last about 300 years ago, he said. I was looking for a group of my people who had strayed, but they were killed before I found them. Your people were not here then, and you had not yet been born. I know that, because of your difference, did not call to me. I think you are the fruit of my people's passing by yours, though. Do you mean that your people may be my kinsmen? Yes. He was examining her face very carefully, perhaps seeking some resemblance. He would not find it. The face she was wearing was not her true face. Your people have crossed the Niger, he hesitated, frowning, then gave the river its proper name, the Orumili, when I saw them last. They live on the other side of Benin. We crossed long ago, she said. Children born in that time have grown old and died. We were Ado and Idu, subject to Benin before the crossing. Then we fought with Benin and crossed the river to Onitsha to become free people, our own masters. What happened to the Oze people who were here before you? Some ran away. Others became our slaves. So you were driven from Benin, then you drove others from here, or enslaved them. Anyanwu looked away, spoke woodenly. It is better to be a master than to be a slave. Her husband at the time of the migration had said that. He had seen himself becoming a great man, master of a large household with many wives children, and slaves. Anyanwu, on the other hand, had been a slave twice in her life and had escaped only by changing her identity completely and finding a husband in a different town. She knew some people were masters and some were slaves. That was the way it had always been. But her own experience had taught her to hate slavery. She had even found it difficult to be a good wife in her most recent years because of the way a woman must bow her head and be subject to her husband. It was better to be as she was, a priestess who spoke with the voice of a god and was feared and obeyed. But what was that? She had become a kind master herself. Sometimes one must become a master to avoid becoming a slave, she said softly. Yes, he agreed. She deliberately turned her attention to the new things he had given her to think about. Her age, for instance. He was right. She was about 300 years old, something none of her people would have believed. And he said something else, something that brought alive one of her oldest memories. There had been whispers when she was a girl that her father could not beget children, that she was the daughter not only of another man, but of a visiting stranger. She asked her mother about this, and for the first and only time in her life, her mother had struck her. From then on, she had accepted the story as true, but she had never been able to learn anything about the stranger. She would have not have cared. Her mother's husband claimed her as his daughter, and he was a good man. But she had always wondered whether the strangest peoples were more like her. Are they all dead? She asked Doro. These kinsmen of mine? Yes. They were not like me. They might have been after many more generations. You are not only their child. Your Onitsha kinsmen must have been unusual in their own right. Wow. Well, that's it. We're going to continue next from where we left off in the next video. But also some thoughts from you guys. I mean, Anyanwu really seems to have an intriguing past, and she's only realizing that past through her new encounter with the mysterious man Doro. Hopefully we'll find out more of Anyanwu's character, her childhood, and perhaps get a little bit more on Doro as well. So, this is the Media Man 5005, and I hope you enjoyed this reading of Octavia E. Butler's Wild Seed. More to come.